Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. It's the best show ever. You can listen to us on 97.5 The Fanatic, 97.5thefanatic.com, or you can watch us on NBC Sports Philadelphia, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday. Ricky Hypotheticals, Sylvana Kelleher, I'm Tyrone Johnson. And we're just going to kick some things around today as we, get ready for our weekend as we record this on a Friday. You guys will see it a little bit later, obviously, on YouTube. But I want to start with something that Ricky and I already addressed and put Sylvana, and Dylan answered it as well, and put Sylvana on the hot seat. Now, in this scenario, right at the top, Sylvana, you're single. So don't worry about Tommy Boy. In this hypothetical, you're single, okay? And what we were talking about is the movie that just won Best Picture this past week, and the young lady that won Best Actress, she plays an adult dancer, okay? Doesn't do anything else, but an adult dancer, and she marries a Russian oligarch, and then the family gets upset. That's the premise of the movie. I'm not giving any spoilers. That's just the premise of the movie. The question is, if you're single, and you right now write down your list of 100 things that a guy must have for order for you to date him. This particular guy checks all the boxes, but he's an adult dancer. Now, he'd be willing to stop, but that's what he's been doing as a job. Would that job be a deal breaker for you if that person checked every other box? Now, I will say, Dylan answered it. Right, Dylan answered it. Dylan said it would not be a deal breaker. Ricky Bose said it'd be tough and he wanted to stop. Not a deal breaker. Same thing for me. We cannot define people solely on what they do, but that's just our opinion. What is yours? We want to get a female perspective on this one.
This is really difficult. I'm trying to think about it. So if I have 100 things, he has 99.
No, he has all 100.
Oh, he has all 100.
But
he's a male dancer.
An adult dancer, yes.
Okay, an adult dancer.
Yeah,
oh, gosh.
We put in the person does not rise to another profession. They only do the dancing. They don't do any of the other things that might not be legal.
Okay.
He does the adult dancing and he goes home, but he does not take money to do other stuff. And he checks every other box. And he would be willing to stop, but what he's been doing the last couple of years is shaking it.
I don't know. This might be a deal breaker because I think it's a little too cringy for me. Like, I could imagine I would get the ick from that. I think that, granted, unless I would probably honestly want to watch and see how it was and base my answer off of that.
So in that scenario, you meet him at a game. Okay. Let's say you meet him at a Sixers game, you meet him at a Phillies game. Yeah. You hit it off, and then you get to know each other. He checks all the boxes. He's the right looks, height, whatever. Family back, everything. Everything that you value, he has.
Yeah.
Your deal breaker would be you need to go to the establishment on like a Saturday night.
Yeah.
See him do it. And if you weren't
see my reaction.
And if you weren't too cringed out. Now, again, in this scenario, he'd be willing to stop.
Yes.
So it's not like this is what he's going to do forever, but this is what he does. You need to see him do it. And if you're not too cringe, then you might consider it.
Yes. Yes.
See, Ricky was the out. Go ahead, pass it to Ricky for a
I don't want to know.
Yeah, see, go ahead, Ricky.
I look at it in a different way. You know what? I need you to stop immediately because I've been in those places. I know what happens in those places. But she had already, like you said, said that she wasn't into all that. She just did the dancing.
Right. In this scenario, it's just the dancing.
I would ask her to stop. I would have to ask her to stop
yes.
because I don't want guys grinding all over.
Okay.
They would have to stop. It would have to be mandatory that they would have to stop.
Said you would have to go in and see
because
it.
I would just.
But they couldn't stop immediately. They would have to at least work another week.
So
you could be in there. Would you go with dollars?
Probably.
I'm saying if you're going to go visit, you can't
if I liked him otherwise, I would probably bring money.
And what if he was dancing with another
girl?
It's his job. You look for another guy and say
I would probably have to leave.
Well, it's his job.
I would get too jealous. I would have to leave.
But it's his job. In this scenario, you're the one who told him, you knew about the job.
Clause would come out.
But he's not doing. All he's doing is the job. He's not doing any extras.
I'm just saying, I would have to go and witness it. If I wasn't too cringed out, then
you can maybe look past it.
Maybe look past it. I probably have a ton of questions, but I don't know. As in my personality, I don't know if I would be able to look past it.
Okay.
My personality.
So I want people to answer that in the YouTube comments of, and let's keep it clean because we kept it clean. Let's please keep the comments clean. It's just a matter of could you look past the adult dancing if they did everything else in that scenario. So whatever your type is, this person is all of that, but that one.
I would have to talk to a therapist and break it down.
Okay, because this is one thing I will say separate from that particular profession that I've noticed. People make a lot of judgments on what people do, and I always think that's a bit dangerous because what we've done is we've demeaned hard work sometimes. And if a person digs ditches, you have to recognize that someone needs to. So if you look down on somebody who does a certain job, I'm not only talking about that job, but if we start looking down on certain work, right? Then all of a sudden, why is a person who does a certain job not good enough for you if they're doing other things? Like in this, for example, if you need that person to be kind, if that's what you like, in that scenario, the person's very kind. If they're charitable, this person's very charitable. If they're you need to be family oriented, this person is. So why would you allow a person's profession to overrule everything? I'm not only talking about that profession. Obviously, I'm talking about a larger conversation.
Well, there's a lot of things now that are. I mean, think about this for a second. We're talking about people that dance for a living. Right, obviously it's exotic dancing,
adult dancing, keeping it clean.
I mean, when you really kind of think about it, I mean, look at these OnlyFans things that are going on. There's a lot worse going on there now at times. Than anything else. So I guess that now that I think of it that way, I guess I'm not that offended anymore.
It's not as bad, and really, but I've noticed this. This was a thing now where people right away before they even get to know somebody. I'm not talking about even in a dating. I'm talking about you just at a bar. Yeah, they're asking somebody what they do to pass judgment on them. And even though that doesn't decide whether or not that person's a good or bad person. For example, if a person's a doctor, they may save lives, but
they might be a bad person. They could still be a narcissist or sociopath or whatever.
Right, and I was like, that doesn't automatically mean you're good. So I find the judgment based on just job. I gotta be honest. When I go down the shore, almost every one of my friends I've made down there are bartenders. Am I supposed to look down upon them? I love bartenders, by the way, but I'm saying I hang out with
people that you're hanging out with bartenders. That's not right.
I hang out with bartenders every day.
I do too.
All the time. That too. Yeah, all the time.
But it's like guilty by association. I played with Pat Burrell. I used to get told on the road trips, don't you dare go out with Pat. Don't be going out with Pat now. Don't go out with Pat.
But that doesn't mean you were doing what Pat was doing just because you were out with Pat.
Yeah, but I was labeled.
Yeah.
You get labeled.
Yeah.
No, it's not me. It's not me judging the job because I understand.
No. I was taking it. It's not just. I understand.
But I understand a lot of people would.
But there is a little judgment because you said you don't know if you can handle it because you'd be too jealous.
Yes, but that doesn't mean I judge them for doing that job.
Like they're not a bad person.
Yes, I don't think it reflects who they are.
What I think you're saying is you don't know if you would be secure enough to know that your significant other is getting touched and groped at their job every day.
My personality, I don't think I would be able to handle all the thoughts. I would be definitely the type of person that would ruminate on those thoughts and all the hypotheticals and all the stuff that happened before me. Me personally, it wouldn't be good for me, but I'm not casting judgment on someone for dancing.
And I also think that sometimes that's age-related. What I've noticed is over time, this isn't judgment. This is, I think, happens in life. There's certain things that bother me in my 20s, that bother me maybe less in my 30s, that bother me less in my 40s. Yeah. But that's not really coming from a place of judgment because I couldn't have handled that when I was in my 20s either. No. So please understand what I'm saying. It's not a place of judgment. What I've noticed is evolution.
It would have been harder in my 30s to be I can handle this. No, I couldn't.
Yeah, and let's get to one sports thing real fast, but it has to do with the city of Philadelphia that we're going to talk about on the show today as we record this on a Friday. Deep down, do we love drama in Philadelphia sports? Deep down, do we love drama? And when people go, oh, well, the media created the drama. Is the media really creating the drama, or do the fans love the drama and we're just talking about what the fans like to talk about?
The drama's got to come to us first before we talk about
it. We can't make it.
We're not making it up.
And guess who chimes in when we just address what's going on? Who has all the crazy takes on it? It's the fans. It's not the media. It's the fans.
Yeah, it's just something that I noticed. It's like the media creates all this drama. Or why does TMZ exist? Why do we like gossip? All that kind
reality
of stuff.
TV.
Right, all that stuff. I watched that show by accident the other day. It just happened to be on. Those people drive me up a wall.
Yeah, see? So it's just a funny thing how that happens with sports. So we'll get into that on the show. Well, we'll talk about how, We say we don't love drama. We say we don't want this and that. But deep down, even in a city like Philadelphia that loves its sports, we love characters, drama, and all that stuff just as much. Well, that's our time here on YouTube today. We appreciate everybody for watching this, the whole video. We really appreciate you. You can listen to us on the best show ever, 2 to 6, Monday through Friday on 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com. And you can watch us on NBC Sports
Don't touch
Philadelphia.
him.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching our YouTube. If you want to help us out, go ahead and like and subscribe for us. If you liked what you saw, go right over here to our playlists and pick out whatever you want to watch.